Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Chrisley Knows Best fans share Chrisley family's criminal roots. Chrisley Knows Best fans have become very invested in the family's criminal roots and are now sharing them. This comes on the heels of Chase Chrisley getting arrested for assault. Not only was he arrested, but he also had a smirky mugshot taken, which was revealed to the public. So what trail of problems has the family left like breadcrumbs? Keep reading for more details. It has been a rough 2 years for the Chrisley Knows Best family. They have been in the spotlight due to Todd and Julie Chrisley's legal problems. The couple was sentenced to a collective 19 years behind bars due to fraud. They were sentenced in November 2022 and started serving in January 2023. Unfortunately for Todd and Julie, they were placed in separate prisons. He is in Florida, whereas she is in Kentucky, making it hard for their children to keep up with visitation. Savannah Chrisley has been doing her best to raise her younger siblings, Chloe and Grayson. However, Todd and Julie are not the only ones in the Chrisley family who have done wrong and landed themselves in hot water. Kyle Chrisley, who is Todd's oldest son from his first marriage, has been the most notable family member, having been in and out of trouble for years. He had a plethora of problems, including substance abuse, mental health issues, and more. Additionally, he is Chloe's biological father, but he and her mother could not provide the life she needed, leading Todd and Julie to step up. Of course, a fan on Reddit did a deep dive into the Chrisley family's criminal history, and it runs deep. The OP shared some fun facts. Todd's father was always in and out of prison, while Todd's brother was arrested for shoplifting. His SIL was arrested for extortion. Kyle is out on bond right now. Lindsay Chrisley allegedly has multiple police reports of domestic abuse, plus accused Julie of slapping her. Grayson made vicious phone calls to GF plus a car wreck, but said the car was self-driving. Savannah had a subscription box people paid for, but never got. It was noted that Chrisley Knows Best alum, Chase Chrisley, had allegedly tried to extort his sister with a sex tape in the past. Now he has a mugshot to go along with his parents and his brother, Kyle's. After seeing the deep criminal history that follows the family, what did followers have to say? I don't think I've ever seen a group of people so caught up with money and status symbols. The Chrisleys are low-life scammers and natural-born criminals. The whole family needs to be locked up. Nanny Faye Chrisley, I'm not exactly sure of her transgressions, but given she hatched Toad and was married to Daddy Chrisley, she is just as crooked as the rest. Yes, it was questioned where Nanny fell into all of this. Someone pointed out she always had a get-rich-quick scheme every episode, but does that make her bad? Not necessarily. At the end of the day, many think the Chrisley kids are still very entitled and have very little sympathy for them. It does not seem, in Chase's case, that he has learned anything from what his parents are going through. It's no secret that the Chrisley family has had their fair share of run-ins with the law, but what fans are uncovering now paints a much darker, more complicated picture of the famous Southern family than anyone expected. While Chrisley Knows Best originally launched as a lighthearted reality series, following the high-end antics of the ever-opinionated Todd Chrisley and his lavish Atlanta-based family, fans are beginning to speculate that the surface-level drama was only part of a much deeper and possibly generational web of secrets. In online forums and fan threads, longtime viewers are digging through interviews, legal records, and even obscure social media posts to uncover what some are calling the criminal roots of the Chrisley family. It's a journey that's taken fans decades back in time, before the reality TV cameras, before the designer suits, and even before the infamous fraud convictions that rocked the Chrisley empire. From glitz to grit, At the heart of the Chrisley brand has always been Todd Chrisley. Sharp-tongued, fashion-obsessed, and fiercely protective of his family. When the show first aired in 2014, audiences were captivated by the seemingly perfect world he curated. Spotless mansions, top-tier schools, and well-dressed children. But beneath the sheen of Southern charm, there were cracks in the porcelain. In 2022, both Todd and his wife Julie were convicted of bank fraud and tax evasion, sending shockwaves through their fan base. While the couple maintained their innocence, claiming they were victims of a former employee's betrayal, the court disagreed, sentencing Todd to 12 years and Julie to 7 years in federal prison. But even after those convictions, some fans weren't ready to close the case. They started looking backward, and what they found stunned even the most devoted Chrisley fans. Tracing trouble through the family tree, digging into public genealogy databases and archived news reports, amateur sleuths stumbled across what they believe could be a pattern of legal trouble throughout the Chrisley lineage. An anonymous Reddit user, going by the handle Southern Secrets 2023, claims to have found court documents from the early 1990s involving a Chrisley relative charged with embezzlement in Georgia. Another post unearthed an old mugshot, allegedly of a distant cousin, connected to a multi-state fraud ring operating in the late 80s. While some of these connections are speculative, fans are quick to note that Todd himself often spoke about growing up in a household where appearances mattered above all else. "It's not about what's right, it's about what people believe," he once said on an early episode of the show. Now that quote is being viewed under an entirely different lens. Was the Chrisley image always a carefully curated illusion, passed down like fine china, along with a blueprint for how to skirt the system? The secrets behind the Southern charm. Longtime viewers of the show recall moments that, in hindsight, feel more like foreshadowing than family fun. Todd's constant obsession with control, his need to know everything about his children's lives, and the frequent tension over money now seem like red flags fans overlooked for years. Savannah Chrisley, who has stepped up as the public face of the family since her parents' incarceration, has fiercely defended them. Yet even she has admitted to growing up faster than most, and having seen things a kid shouldn't see. While she didn't elaborate, fans believe she may have been referring to financial deals, threats of exposure, or whispered conversations about the family's mounting debts. Chase Chrisley, Todd's mischievous son, has also alluded to being caught in his father's shadow. In a podcast episode from last year, he said, "I always knew my dad was good at making things happen, but I didn't always know how he did it. Now I do." That cryptic remark sent fan forums into overdrive. Chrisley knows best. Or does he? The irony, of course, isn't lost on viewers. The title of the show, Chrisley Knows Best, now feels more like a dark joke. Fans have begun rewriting the catchphrase, suggesting titles like Chrisley Knows Schemes or Chrisley Knows Loopholes. But while the jokes fly, there's an underlying sadness that resonates through fan discussions. For many, the Chrisleys were more than just entertainment. They were aspirational, a family that, despite the drama, always seemed to stick together. To see their world unravel in such a dramatic, public way is heartbreaking to those who felt they knew the family from watching them for nearly a decade. "I watched them every week with my mom," one fan posted. "Now I wonder how much of it was real. Was it all a performance?" Another user added, "It's like we were rooting for the villain and didn't even know it."